Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the East Midlands, where today's hosts, the Nottingham Hoods, have enjoyed a tremendous start to 2022, going the entire month of January unbeaten and becoming the closest contenders at present to Division 1's top two of Solent and Worthing. 6 games unbeaten, and they aim to make it a superb 7 tonight against a Team Newcastle University side going under a minor dip in form. A win and a loss last week in a home doubleheader to Oaklands and Reading respectively leaves them in 7th place, but they do have a couple of games in hand over the majority of teams in the playoff picture due to the small matter of playing in 2 finals last month. So a win here in Nottingham is just what they will be needing. John Hobbs alongside David Watts. David, welcome. It's always a fixture to have you alongside me here in Nottingham. Great to be back in the East Midlands, and a warm welcome to you in, with what should be a cracking game tonight.
Yeah, thanks, mate. I mean, it's always a very difficult commute, 20 minutes from my front door.
As opposed to 3 hours for me.
Yeah, I mean, you had a little bit further to travel, mate. But yeah, looking forward to this matchup, to be fair. I saw Newcastle play against Derby in a final just after Christmas. And Hoods, like you said, are on a tear. This is looking to make a really decent run heading towards the playoffs.
Absolutely, and Nottingham 6 games unbeaten, if you count the 20-0 void win over Reading. So
I'm sure Ben's going to count that.
They're the informed team without question, but Newcastle have some games in hand over the chasing pack as well, so they're not to be counted out. They're in 7th right now.
Yeah, so I spoke to Mark earlier. He said the guys are in good form at the moment. He's done a really good job with this programme. For a first-year programme in D1 that is doing so well and challenging a lot of big clubs, especially making a final, that's not to be overlooked at all.
And we caught up with both coaches ahead of today's game, starting with Nottingham Hoods coach Ben Stanley.
So, Coach, it's been a very successful January for you guys. You're riding on a 6-game winning streak at the moment. How important is it to continue this focus today?
It's massive for us. Newcastle is such a strong team, obviously already beaten us away once. And for us, we still have our eyes on the top of the league. That's a place where we want to be come the end of the season. So we can't afford to drop any games. We have 9 out of 12, I think, are top 8 teams left to play, something like that. So we just have to come out and execute. It's a really important game.
And for Newcastle, they're coming off the back of 2 losses in 2 finals over the month of January. They had a bit of a slump last week. They won 1, lost 1. How dangerous are they going to be tonight?
I think the losses make them more dangerous. I think they're going to be 100% focused, 100% ready to play. They know they got us at their place. So, the likes of Blaine, Moya, Frederici, Gale, they're going to be really, really hungry to get a win. So it is going to be a difficult game.
And as said, a good month to January. You're now sitting alone in 3rd. You did mention about the remaining games you've got. Is it it's just obviously a case of focusing on 1 game at a time at this rate? Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, we have Solent, Hemel, Worthing, TVC, Derby, Barking, who are obviously having a great season. Those are all games still to come. So it is 1 week at a time every week.
You split your games last week heading into tonight's game. What are your thoughts going into this game as we enter the business end of the playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, it's good to be back playing division games again. We've had a lot of cup games recently, so it's good to get back into the grind of the division. Since we come back, we've sort of been up and down. We've had a lot of close games as well. It was a tough loss to Reading last week, but a really close game. So I think fine margins for us. We want to make sure this is a close game as well, because these guys are really good. But if we can make it close, again, it's just going to come down to fine margins, I think so.
And you're currently in 7th place at the moment, but you've got a few games in hand on most of the teams up there. So, starting with tonight, it's important to just try and get those results now as we enter, as said, the business end of the season.
Yeah. We've got 3 tough games in a row now. We've got Nottingham, we've got Derby, and we've got Bradford. And I think at the end of those 3 games, that's where we'll start probably looking at the table. But for now, I think just focusing on this 1 game. There's still quite a bit to go, even though we are moving forward, yeah.
And what's the mood been like in training this week leading up to this game?
Yeah, good. Just like we said, tough loss to Reading, but really close game, really fine margins. We're just trying to stay locked in, stay focused, and just, clean up a few small mistakes and get back to being, doing what we're good at, and I think it could make a big difference today.
Good luck tonight, Coach.
Yeah, thank you very much.
So some interesting words there from both coaches ahead of tonight's game. And I know that Coach Elderkin has been speaking to you, David, and speaking to Ben Stanley this week, very much preparing for this game. Not letting the unbeaten run get to him. It's just one game at a time. As we look ahead to the team sheets, we'll start with the hometown Nottingham Hoods, and some very familiar faces in there, David. Some that you know quite well. Carl Jimenez and Joe Campbell being two of those. Luke Mitchell, of course, you played alongside when you were still a player all those years ago.
All those years ago. Thank you so much. It does feel like all those years ago, but. Yeah, like I said, you've got 6 of those guys that are NTU scholars. So all 6 of those are studying at Nottingham Trent University and playing Bucks on Wednesdays, as well as playing Division 1 basketball. That's outstanding recruiting, and that's just really good character guys for the Hoods too, that had a lot of value. And also you've got Moroquinho in there, who's got BBL experience, international experience. As soon as he walks in the gym, everybody knows that he's there. He's that kind of guy.
Yeah.
Not just to mention that he is absolutely massive. He's 7 foot tall. That's a big human being. But yeah, I've watched a couple of these guys play. I know Luke really well. He's a former teammate, and this is one of the best teams that the Hoods have put out there, I think.
Absolutely.
And it goes to show, like, they are top 3rd, top 3, and they definitely deserve that at the moment with the form that they're in. I'm looking forward to seeing them in action tonight. And this Newcastle team, another former teammate of mine, Martin Gale, he can get it going whenever.
And there is the Newcastle team, of course. At the bottom there is Martin Gale, an expert three-point shooter, averaging around 44% from downtown today. But it's a team that, when you look at it, it's with Martin Gale in that, David Moyer, Brandon Federici, and Ronald Blaine are the big 3, you could say, for that team. Martin Gale, of course, adding to that as the Fab 4. But there's a lot of good role players in that team as well.
I think that's what you find with most of Mark's teams. It's just a bunch of guys that all buy in, are on the same page consistently. There's no one guy out there that's going to try and do it on his own. Everybody's going to contribute in their role, whether it be, play 5 minutes and just dive on a loose ball, or play 25, 30 minutes and try and go after it offensively.
Absolutely. And just looking away from this game today, there's been a couple of games played today, and a big win for the Oakland's Wolves today, beating the Leicester Warriors 80-79. A huge win for Oakland's in that relegation battle between the bottom 2.
Yeah, and I spoke to a few of the guys before the game today, and I think it definitely came down to a few missed shots at the foul line. I'm not going to mention any names, because if he watches, he's going to be really mad at me. But yeah, I'm sure he's going to make up for it next game, don't you worry.
And the Loughborough Riders getting the job done over Barking Abbey London Lions 94-86. After a good start to the season, Barking Abbey have kind of slipped below the radar a little bit. Of course, the loss of coach James Veer to the London Lions has contributed to that. It's almost adjusting at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, especially when you lose such a strong coach like James. Your team's always going to be a bit of a state of flux, because players are going to want to prove to their new coach what they can do. So they're going to be out of sorts a little bit, a bit more aggressive, a bit more jittery, a bit more anxious, because they're trying to fight for minutes all over again.
So we are roughly around 3 minutes away from tip-off here at the Nottingham Wildcats Arena. It's always great to be back here in such a fantastic establishment, and one of the lesser-known basketball-orientated venues in this country. When you think of basketball venues, you think straight away of the National Basketball Performance Centre in Manchester, the Leicester Riders' Morningside Arena, and the Virtual Motors Arena in Newcastle. But this was the venue, David. We speak about it a lot. This was the venue that started it all, really, and you even did a bit of volunteer work when this venue opened.
So our coach negotiated for us to come in before all the baskets were even up. So we ended up painting changing rooms, painting a wall, helping out wherever we could, just so we get some court time. And that was my second ever time playing National League, and this is my venue. I was spoilt to death. So whenever you travel the country and play in really dusty gyms with old ceilings that fall down during the games and stuff, we were so spoiled.
Yeah.
And this was what started it all, the Nottingham Wildcats Arena, of course, home of the Hoods and the WBBL side, the Nottingham Wildcats starting fives for tonight's game, starting with the Nottingham Hoods. They're rolling with Andrew Vickers, Jode Campbell, Carl Jimenez, Josh Gudemi and Morikino Williams. For Team Newcastle, David Moyer, Themba Yabantu, Brandon Federici, Ronald Blaine and Martin Gale. Sort of expected starting fives from both teams.
Yeah, agreed, but you've also got a bunch of players in those lineups that can play at the next level. They could easily slip into a BBL team and contribute immediately. So this is just, you know, a testament to how strong the British basketball game has become in the last several years.
And, you know, a lot of things I hear about and what I get sent messages and get tweeted to is just the level of National Basketball League Division 1, not just here, but the WNBL as well. You know, the standard is certainly getting much higher. And, of course, the standard getting much higher in the British Basketball League as well. For you, where do you see British basketball right now compared to, say, you know, 10 years ago?
Well, you've got a lot more paid players now. At this level, let's say when I was at Reading, not everybody was paid, but everyone got like travel expenses or stuff here and there to keep them going. Whereas now, most teams do have 3 or 4 guys that they pay to play full time. And whether it be English, American, European, whatever, that's going to raise the game of those around them. And that can only be better for the game, really. But now I think English guys as well, they're finding more ways to get into the gym. It's becoming more accessible and they're learning more skills and they're just becoming better players. And now, as it's so competitive to find roster spots, teams are now burning up like everywhere, and we're just getting stronger and stronger units.
And what also helps as well, like we said with Nottingham Wildcats Arena, you were talking about accessibility now. There's more basketball facilities now in this country, more specific to this sport, which is always good to have. And that's something we didn't actually have 10 some odd years ago. We had the Yamiche Centre, now the basketball centre in Manchester, but apart from that and the Wildcats Arena, there wasn't a lot else, was there?
No, I mean, when I first started playing in Nottingham 20 years ago, 22 years ago,
don't worry,
we had the YMCA, and the YMCA was 3 floors up, and if you shot the ball too high, it would bounce off the ceiling. If you drove too hard to the basket, you go into the wall. And that was, we had that, we had the Hyson Green Boys Club, which is like a half court. And then we had this, so...
It's a no-brainer, really, isn't it?
Pretty easy decision to make.
Absolutely. So we are getting set for action here in Nottingham, and Team Newcastle have featured quite regularly on NBL Live in 2022, of course, in 2 finals alongside this game tonight. So currently they're 0-2 in front of the NBL Live screens, and Mark Elderkin did joke when he arrived. He literally just looked and said, "Oh, not you guys again."
I know, I mean, sometimes just the look of the draw, you get a few TV games here and there, you know.
So just going with the starting fives again for Nottingham: Andrew Vickers, Jode Campbell, Carl Jimenez, Josh Gudemi and Morikino Williams. For Team Newcastle, David Moyer, Themba Yabantu, Brandon Federici, Ronald Blaine and Martin Gale. Of course, our first visit here to Nottingham was when the Hoods faced Leicester Warriors, and certain Martin Gale hit a clutch 3 to win the game for Leicester in front of a packed house in that game.
I think you'll find I called that as well, right at the beginning.
He did, yeah.
Hate to remind you, I'm sure you remember.
Morikino Williams and Ronald Blaine will jump it up. Of course, Morikino Williams, a club-high 7 blocks last week, as David Moyer straight away puts it in. A quick bucket for Team Newcastle. Only about 5 seconds on the clock. Vickers.
Hoods have got to look inside to Morikino early. They're going to double, it's going to open up for shooters. You just got to stick with that for the time being.
Moyer, though, with the steal, and here is Blaine in transition. So far, Newcastle off to a fast start.
So I did speak to Michael Gale before the game, and he said in practice, coach has been highlighting the fact they need to get out and run and get layups, and it just pays dividends really early on.
Andrew Vickers short with his three-point attempt. Morikino Williams with the loose ball. Ball is battered around a little bit, but Gudemi has it. 7 to shoot for Nottingham. Jimenez driving. And another steal, this time by Federici. Yabantu will slow it down. Federici puts up a three. And the ball goes out of bounds, last touched by David Moyer.
It's a frantic pace at the minute from Newcastle. Hoods look all out of sorts. They need to get a good offense here.
This is how Newcastle like to play their game, fast tempo. They love to shoot the three, average around 33s a game, which is a huge, almost computer game numbers when you really break it down. Here is Williams on the spin. Short hook is good.
I mean, they've got to look for that every other trip down the floor, really, if not every trip.
Yabantu all the time in the world, but way off with his three.
I mean, if Morikino is going to give you that much room, you definitely have to just pull up with some confidence, knowing you're going to make it.
Absolutely, a product of Gateshead College in the Academy Basketball League. Themba Yabantu splits his time between playing for Newcastle University with the Newcastle Eagles. Here is Gudemi. Three on the way from Jimenez, and that's good.
So there's that inside-out game again. As soon as Williams gets it, the defense is just going to collapse. Williams actually had a layup there if he just looked over his left shoulder.
Blaine to Moyer. Blaine wants it. Back to Moyer for three at the top. And Williams pats it to Gudemi, and here is Jimenez. Jimenez just a little too strong for Williams, but Jimenez recovers. A three on the way again for the Hoods, and Joe Campbell is off. Blaine in the corner, Moyer wide open, strings it.
So for me, Newcastle play like the old school Phoenix Suns when they had like Steve Nash, Amari Stoudemire, like 7 seconds and under kind of offense. I love playing in that kind of stuff.
Campbell with the floater, and that's good. Newcastle wanted to travel against Williams. Blaine travelled with it. He was thinking about the three-point attempt, but decided to drive inside, got caught travelling.
Yeah, sometimes you get caught in those two minds because you're wide open. You want to shoot it, but you want to drive, like coach has told you, like drive hard to the basket, and you almost talk yourself out of it.
So if you've joined us on the Basketball England YouTube channel, welcome everyone. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to Basketball England to find out when NBL Live is next in your town. Of course, switch your notifications on to get that as well. Great to have you on board tonight. As Gudemi loses the ball.
Is that 4 turnovers this early on for Hoods?
Absolutely, yeah.
They're going to have to cut those out early doors.
I'm just thinking, for a team currently in third place, we are tied at 7, but some quick turnovers, as you mentioned, for the Hoods. That's 4 turnovers right now, 3 of them for Jimenez.
Yeah, again, I just think we need to, as Hoods go, they just need to slow the pace down a little bit offensively. Newcastle trying to hurry them up and so they can get out and just run and gun. And so far, their game plan is working. And
Ronald Blaine to the line for the first time tonight. Only actually got 8 points in their win against Oakland. Followed that up with 14 points, 9 boards against Reading. For him, that's quite low productivity for what he can bring. He's second in the league in scoring.
Yeah, but again, this is a team where they could rely on him to score, but they've got other guys that can do it too. So if he doesn't score that many points, it shouldn't make that big an issue because somebody else is going to step up along the way.
Gudemi. Nice move from Joshua Gudemi, and he lays it up and in, but straight away at the other end, Blaine puts it up and in off the glass.
So at the minute, Hoods are having to work really hard to get any kind of like efficient shot, whereas Newcastle's running in straight lines and getting layups.
Something that Mark Elderkin said was working on this week in training, just conditioning, fast-paced basketball, as Joe Campbell lays it up and in. And Jimenez with the quick tap out as Brandon Federici was going in for the easy layup.
It's good transition defense there from Kyle. We just need to stop giving up layups so easily.
Blaine kicks out to Yabantu over Williams. Beautifully done by Themba Yabantu.
Yeah, for me, I find those floaters really difficult, but a lot of guys nowadays, this is what I was talking about earlier, developing the skill set, they just go into that more and more often.
Jimenez finds Gudemi. 8 on the shot clock. Jimenez for 3, gets one to go. Blaine for 3, and Blaine misses everything. Straight away turns to Coach Elderkin, puts his hand up.
I think that's that mismatch with Williams. He's so tall that you just want to drive around him. But if he's going to give you the look, you just got to take it. No more second guessing.
As Logan Bailey comes into the game for the first time for the Hoods, Josh Gudemi takes a seat, and Bailey, a graduate of the University of Scranton, in his first season with the Hoods. Williams inside, gets it to go. Creating that mismatch as you saw, an easy score for Morikino Williams.
Yeah, I mean, it's a no-brainer for me. I mean, he's got, what, 8 inches on the next guy out there?
Here is Yabantu at the other end. Such a fast start to this game, just on halfway. And
what's that, like 6 layups?
Absolutely, yeah. Hoods lead 16-15. Jimenez on the spin. The extra pass to Campbell in the corner. And Yabantu with the rebound. Moya.
Here's that frantic pace again.
Absolutely, and another layup this time for Federici. And Newcastle take the lead at 17-16. Jimenez turns the corner, kicks it out. The open man in the corner is Bailey, or excuse me, Vickers for 3.
So it's great penetration by Jimenez there, just giving Vickers his first little score of the night.
Another score this time for Ronald Blaine. We can barely keep up with the action at the moment.
Oh, it's another layup, right?
It's another layup.
Yeah, another layup.
A cutting Ronald Blaine gets a score. Here is Jimenez. Game is tied at 19. Williams in unfamiliar territory, but he bangs a 3.
Hey, you know what? I love to see it. You love to see 7-footers stepping out here in jumpers.
Something that you were mentioning on the car ride here today is Morikino's, unless he shoots the 3, the role of centre is almost becoming an extinct, as Federici knocks down a 3, almost becoming an extinct position, but Morikino Williams making it his own right now.
Yeah, and like I said, the game's changed in the last 15 years. You find the centres now, they're all like Nowitzki-esque kind of play, all stretch 5, stretch 4.
Here is Vickers, finds Williams. Williams on the spin. Puts it up and in and 1. Both teams having no problem scoring inside right now.
We're on pace for a pretty high scoring game right here. Somebody's got to get a stop at some point, right?
Not one for the defensive purists, there's no doubt about that, as Andrew Vickers comes out. Luke Mitchell comes into the game for the first time.
Yeah, this is my kind of game. Just run and gun now, I'm down. Let's just do it.
As Williams misses the resulting free throw. Hoods lead 24-22. In transition again, Yabantu this time for 2 off the feed from Federici. And even though it's a quick pace, you've got to feel that this suits Newcastle more as the game wears down. Bailey to Olerin, who's into the game for the first time for the Hoods. Williams on the turn, and Blaine rebounds.
If you look at this lineup now for Nottingham, it's all sub 6'5", but really rapid. With the exception of Morikino, who's still getting up and down the floor.
And David Moyer will go to the line. David Moyer, who didn't have the greatest National Cup final showing against the Solent Kestrels in Manchester a couple of weeks ago, only scored his first point in the 4th quarter of that game. And for a man that, averages around about 17 points, gets, league leader in assists, to have that kind of productivity, especially against the team against Solent, you need that, don't you?
Yeah, you do, but it's hard when you're the key point on a scouting report. Everyone is keying on you. They already know where you're going to be. They already know what your tendencies are. It's just hard to get rolling.
Had a triple-double last week in the win against the Oakland's Wolves. 10 points, 13 boards, 12 assists. Moya.
That's not a bad game.
Absolutely. Jimenez, wide open three, gets it to go.
That's 3 early ones for Jimenez right there.
Carl Jimenez really feeling it from downtown. Yeah, 3 for 3. And here come the Hoods again, leading by 1. Here is Olerin. Olerin on the spin, goes glass.
That's one thing Olerin wants to do. He just wants to attack the basket every single time.
Federici. Wide open, Brandon Federici short with his 3.
Hood's got very lucky there.
That's a 45% shooter for the season right there as Mitchell has it. Williams finds Jimenez, who's feeling it, and there's the heat check right there. First 3 got to go.
I mean, I wouldn't blame him. I shot the same thing too.
When you're feeling it, right? Here's Mitchell in transition, and Olerin finishes.
So Hood's given Newcastle a bit of their own medicine there.
Absolutely, and as a result, they lead 31-26 with a minute to play in the first. Blaine, here's Moya. Finds Blaine inside. The extra pass to Moya for 3, and Moya gets it to go.
Newcastle are making Hood scramble all over the shop right now.
The extra pass was a really good one, especially the one from Yabantu, and David Moya made no mistake. 40 seconds of the first period remaining as Ben Proctor, who was going to check in for Newcastle, takes a seat back again. As Morikino Williams takes a seat and Joshua Gademi comes back. Carl Jimenez on the ball. Here is Bailey. 4 to shoot. Olerin misses the 3. And Moya will get the ball. It came off a Nottingham player last.
So this is what I was talking about earlier. This is the future of basketball here. Gademi's the tallest guy here. He's about 6'8". Everybody else, it's a game of guards. Everybody can shoot, everybody can handle, everybody can pass.
Here's one player who can shoot the ball, Blaine, but he picks up his dribble.
Hood's picking up intensity now. Newcastle need to start their offense about 35 feet away from the basket.
Shot clock and game clock are virtually identical as Yabantu puts up a 3 in the corner. And that's no good. And a heave on the buzzer smacks the backboard from Carl Jimenez, and that ends an absolutely enthralling first quarter. There's no doubt about that. Barely have time to catch our breath as the Nottingham Hoods lead Team Newcastle 31-29, and definitely not one for the defensive-minded basketball fan, is it?
No, so one of my old coaches used to say this is a game for the fans. Nobody wants to see stop after stop after stop. They want to see score, want to see frantic pace. And I think that's what we've got right now. Somebody needs to just buckle down defensively, and I mean, giving up 31 and 29 a quarter defensively, that's not great.
And David Moya there you see with the 3. He leads all scorers right now with 10 points. Ronald Blaine has 8 supporting him for the Hoods. Carl Jimenez and Morikino Williams lead the way with 9 each. But Carl Jimenez with 3 turnovers in the very early going, definitely. So he kept his turnovers down towards the 5-minute mark at the first. But a definite good game he's having right now. He's played all 10 minutes so far.
Yeah, and he did make mistakes anyway. I think you have to make up for them on the defensive end, which he did. He got the ball back several times, hit open shots, so you kind of like make amends for those early mistakes.
You just see highlights of what has been a chaotically fast first quarter here in the East Midlands. The Hoods lead 31-29. Ronald Blaine taking a seat. Ben Proctor coming in for Team Newcastle. In fact, I think it's Themba Yabantu actually that will be taking a seat. I think Ronald Blaine will stay.
I think Hoods, as soon as they put Williams back in, they need to get him some position. I mean, Coach Elderkin's been pointing out, he's hovering around the key for a bit more than 3 seconds. But Hoods needs to get the ball to him quicker.
Yeah.
The more work he does inside, the more it frees up their open shooters.
Jimenez. Gudemi inside, too strong. Moya with the rebound.
But that's the position they need inside.
Blaine going strong, gets it to go. Tough move from Ronald Blaine.
So it looks like Newcastle's going to continue with the layups in the second quarter.
Jimenez. Logan Bailey finds a bit of room and banks it home. The layup is good for Logan Bailey.
There's another one of those Nottingham Trent scholars. One of 6 out there.
Studying his Masters in Biology at Nottingham Trent in his first year. Actually graduated with a Bachelor's in Biology from the University of Scranton, but studying his Masters here in Nottingham. There is Blaine. The extra pass to Proctor. Blaine muscling his way inside again.
That play didn't really need to happen because Blaine had the position, gave the ball back. Proctor drove, gave it back to Blaine where he was, and just went up.
Saw that Proctor did have a little bit of room, but decided to get the extra pass to Blaine. It worked in the end. Here is Mitchell. Mitchell looking for options. 7 on the shot clock for the Hoods. Here is Bailey driving at Federici, up and under. Nearly got it to go.
That's a great take. Just got to make it, that's all. Another
Gale,
layup.
another layup for Team Newcastle.
Getting out of breath just watching these guys sprint up and down.
35 points for Team Newcastle. 22 of those have been layups so far.
Only 22.
22
it
points.
Seems like way more.
Here is Olerin. Olerin Euro stepping his way, but found nothing but Ronald Blaine. Here come Newcastle in transition again. And David Moyes' layup was too strong. Jimenez, Gudemi straight away on the catch and shoot, and he gets it to go.
That's one of my favourite shots in basketball there, a little transition 3.
That was the trademark Tintin 3 right there, wasn't it?
Just meant I didn't have to run anymore.
Ball goes out of bounds, it'll stay a
That's
Newcastle
a great
ball.
shot. Great shot by Gudemi there, I love that.
You see there the replay of that. A David Watts special from Josh Gudemi.
Well, I just think it became a part, well, a very essential part of my game later in my career.
Here is Blaine. Blaine was fouled as Eddie Matthew and Themba Yabantu prepare to check in for Team Newcastle. And Yabantu, a current Newcastle Eagles player, mixing his time with Newcastle University, and Eddie Matthew, a former Newcastle Eagles player in his own right as well. Part of many championship winning teams alongside the great, fabulous Flanoy, of course, now an assistant over at the Toronto Raptors.
Yeah, I mean, the BBL at the moment, it's got a lot of NBA connections. Chris Finch over there too. One of my favourite stories is Joe Pinchin just shot his first slam cover this week.
Absolutely, yeah. We'll talk more about that in a bit as well. That was some really awe-inspiring stuff from Pinchin that I saw on Twitter earlier this week, as Eddie Matthews on the ball here. Here is Gale putting the moves on Gudemi. Didn't need the extra pass. Here is Olerin in transition, and he'll finish it.
Yeah, I think a bit of overdrilling by Gale there, but he'll make it up for this possession, I'm sure.
Blaine, and a foul on the floor has been called. And that's on Logan Bailey. As you see the replay of Olerin, could see he was going for the dunk, just couldn't quite get his hands on the rim there. So they'll all count, right?
Yeah, you'll get star points in this game.
Of course, Victor Olerin.
It's a good thing too, because I never would have got any.
Victor Olerin, a really athletic player, can play multiple positions actually, as Blaine's pass to Proctor. Yeah, couldn't find him.
What I compare Victor's athleticism to is a young Michael Jordan. You watch Jordan that rookie year when he just gets in the head and makes a decision. Vic does that sometimes. He's totally unaware he's doing it. It's quite natural.
Victor Olerin being compared to Michael Jordan. I love that.
His athleticism. That's where it ends. I couldn't do that to Vic or Mike. I'm sorry.
Campbell in the corner was Olerin, and his 3 was off. Here come Newcastle again. Blaine couldn't quite keep hold of it. It was a bit of an out of control transition offense there from Newcastle as Andrew Vickers checks in. Logan Bailey takes a seat.
Yeah, but you got Campbell and Gademi actually hustling back to try and get the stop this time instead of just conceding the layup.
Brandon Federici and David Moyer come back in as Martin Gale and Ben Proctor take a seat. You can sense as well, David, that the pace of the game is starting to slow just a little bit, and both teams are just focusing on their sets instead of transition basketball.
Yeah, I usually find that in the second quarter, but you watch when it comes to the third quarter, the pace will be right back up there again. But you are right. I mean, right now everyone's just trying to focus, trying to attack the basket and use the game plan.
Gademi over Blaine, and Blaine didn't like that call, but Josh Gademi will go to the line, I think, for 2 shots. Yes, it is.
It's only Blaine's first 5. He's done pretty well at the moment, considering he's been guarding Morikini Williams a little bit.
As Josh Gademi goes to the line for 2, 71% foul shooter for the season. And a guy who actually spent his junior career at the Derby Trailblazers, actually. As Moyer has it. Yabantu. Blaine muscling his way in. Here's Eddie Matthew for 3. It's short. And Campbell just about collects it from Vickers. Gademi, the extra pass. Beautiful basketball from the Hoods, and Josh Gademi knocks down a 3.
That's great transition basketball. Quick outlet, back to the wing, back to the middle. Defense got nowhere to go.
Blaine, and a foul on Olerin. As Luke Mitchell takes a seat. And Morikino Williams comes back into the game for Nottingham. Here is Blaine, the extra pass to Moyer, wide open for 3. Same result as the first quarter.
Hoods not organised there whatsoever. Still talking about their defensive matchups and just leaving one of the best shooters in the gym wide open.
Vickers is fouled straight away from Eddie Matthew. And another substitution for the Hoods as Diogo Soares comes in to the game for the first time. Yeah. Diogo Soares originally not even on our team sheet actually for this game. I've just actually realised. How rude of us.
Yet another Nottingham Trent scholar.
That's 7 now. As Morikino Williams battling for the ball under the basket, and it will stay, or will go, excuse me, to Nottingham, or to Newcastle University. So much for that text message from Ben saying expect just a few surprises in our lineup. Eddie Matthew in the corner for 3, and Newcastle finding their rhythm from downtown.
Yeah, every matchup out here is a tough one for Williams, because he's going to have to guard a guard. It's not his natural position. He's just stuck like 4 or 5 feet off. He doesn't want to get burned off the dribble.
Moyer. Federici closely guarded by Gademi. Here is Moyer. Step back 3 for David Moyer. Another 3 for David Moyer, who's really feeling it from downtown. 16 points for the Newcastle number 3.
It's a nice pull too. Nice little rhythm step back jumper.
Campbell. Game is tied at 44, and now the Hoods retake the lead at 46-44. Morikino Williams with the mid-range jumper. Eddie Matthew getting in on the act. It's short.
Yeah, Morikini did a way better job challenging that jumper than he knew it was going up, so he had to challenge early doors.
Williams on the turn, short, and Moyer with the rebound. Inside, it goes to Yabantu, and Themba Yabantu will go to the foul line for 2. And amongst the people watching tonight's game, great to have you all on board on the YouTube channel. A legend of the British basketball game down on the south coast, Dave Marshall. Great to have Dave on board. Of course, Worthing losing out last week to the Solent Kestrels, but we both saw the highlights. A full house of nearly 750 people at the Worthing Leisure Centre to see that game.
Yeah.
And that's what we love to see in the NBL, and that's what we're seeing more of in this league.
Oh yeah, it's just becoming a more and more, like I said, more and more accessible, and it's just drawing more and more people. I mean, we're in Nottingham right now. You've got a bunch of kids here that have played junior basketball all day, come to watch the first team play, and it's like at every club around the country. It's great.
Of course, later on in the season, Worthing Thunder will be travelling here to the Nottingham Hoods in actually the final league game of the season, which will be on NBL Live. That will be a cracking matchup, especially if things stay the way they are at the moment in the league standings. Here is Williams. Soares driving. Partially blocked there. I think it was from Moyer, but Blaine got a piece of it too. Federici back to Moyer in rhythm. Puts in another three.
That's one thing Newcastle are doing right now. They're recognising the hot shooters and just finding them.
5 for 6 from downtown, David Moyer right now. Williams inside, blocked by Blaine. Campbell, 5 to shoot. Campbell with the floater, and that's good. Game is tied at 48. Yabantu.
This is a game of extremes right now. There's literally no in-between game. It's either a three or a layup.
Moyer, guarded by Jimenez. They switch, Vickers now on him. Moyer, another big three, and a bit of a cool down there for David Moyer as he misses the three.
You know what, if I was shooting like him, or even if I wasn't, I'd probably shot that too.
Jimenez, who had the hot hand in the first quarter, but it went cold there as his pass to Andrew Vickers found no one but the fans. As a substitution for both sides, actually. Oh no, actually just Martin Gale checking in for Eddie Matthew.
I think it was Bud Johnson once when he played for Brighton Bears. He was on the bench. Ball came all over to him during the game. He just caught it and shot it anyway. That was wide open.
That's just so Bud Johnston, that. Bud Johnston, a former Worthing Thunder player as well as a Brighton Bears player.
And also played for Nottingham one time.
Absolutely, yeah. Played for Nottingham Knights back in the old days of the NBL, or EBL as it was called back then, as Thembi Yabantu gets in on the act for three.
It seems whoever Williams is guarding, that's who you're going to go to create.
Jimenez. Straight away, Vickers for three is off the back iron. Jimenez has it back. 9 to shoot for the Hoods. 3 on the way from Campbell. Ball battered around and Federici has it, and again the ball will, it will go out of bounds as Yabantu speeding up court. Couldn't quite keep it in play. As Mark Elderkin calls a timeout for Team Newcastle. If I'm not mistaken, that's the first timeout called of this game, actually.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And that's with 1:21 left of the second period. And
I mean, sometimes your team's rolling. You don't really need to do much. I'm with Newcastle at the moment. Like I said, it's a three or a layup. You know, why change it?
Absolutely.
Defensively, they do need to tighten down a little bit. They've got some good starts, but Hood's just hanging around.
So with 1:21 remaining and the Team Newcastle leading 51-48. The next time the NBL Live cameras will be on YouTube will be next week as we make the trip down to Colchester and the University of Essex Arena as Essex Rebels, take on the Thames Valley Cavaliers. And of course the Thames Valley Cavaliers in action tomorrow in a huge matchup against the Solent Kestrels in a game that really could go a long way to deciding the title. Of course, Thames Valley got the win in Solent earlier in the season, so the onus is really on Solent to pick up a big win at Uxbridge College.
Yeah, and especially because Solent went pretty much unbeaten a few seasons ago, right? So for them to pick up a loss nowadays, it's almost like a shock. Like, you don't expect them to lose. With Thames Valley coming in, they obviously just thought, you know what, we've got nothing to lose. People are counting us out anyway. They went in, got the win.
Absolutely, and Thames Valley have been a real thorn in the side of Solent over the last season and a bit. Since their win at Solent last season, Thames Valley actually ended Solent's 2-year unbeaten streak at Uxbridge College, getting the win there. And of course, they've beaten them in the league this season. So a huge matchup tomorrow afternoon at Uxbridge College as a 3 goes in from Andrew Vickers.
And this is where Hoods need to knuckle down now and get a stop. They're going to attack Williams and try and get the first open 3 they can get.
Yabantu, a mismatch on Williams, gets it to go, and a foul. Beautiful use of control from Themba Yabantu, and he'll go to the line for 1.
Yeah, it's a really tough decision for Coach Stanley right now, because you've got Morikini, who's such a threat offensively, but defensively right now, he's matched up against somebody that's barely 6 foot tall. That's very, and he's lightning fast. That's such a difficult matchup.
Morikino Williams goes to the bench. He's on 2 fouls for the Hoods. Themba Yabantu hits the resulting free throw for Team Newcastle.
I love the confidence that Newcastle are playing with right now. Whenever somebody shoots the ball, it's almost like a shot that they miss.
Playing to their strengths as well, as early as the first quarter too, as when they played in their 2 finals, as Jimenez puts up a 3 off the back iron. Here come Newcastle again. Federici goes in, and another one, and 1. But Newcastle right now doing what they didn't do what they did do in the finals. They were playing to their strengths here in this game. In the 2 finals, they were playing sort of away from what they are good at. Didn't play the ball in transition, didn't want to shoot the 3 as much, but today really playing to their strengths, getting out on the fast break and taking those 3s.
Oh yeah, and it's plain to see. I mean, they've got 56 points away from home, and they've just been shooting lights out.
A lot for Nottingham to ponder as we enter the final 20 seconds of the half, in a first half that's just flown by. Gudemi inside, Gudemi, and a foul. Martin Gale wanted a travel, but the basket will count.
And I think the Hoods really need to exploit these inside matchups with Gudemi and Morikino. There's no one that can match up with them, just physically. They can muscle them out, they can try and get them out of their comfort zone, but they're still going to get a shot up.
Jack Cork coming into the game for the final 13 seconds for Newcastle, as Ronald Blaine on 2 fouls takes a seat. And Gudemi now to the foul line. Gudemi, a 71, as said earlier, a 71% foul shooter. Final seconds of the half. Here is Moya. Moya finds no one but Jimenez. And the layup there wouldn't have counted anyway if it went in. And that ends, as mentioned, a exhilarating first half of play. Only 1 timeout called. The action has been fast-paced, non-stop. And it ends with Team Newcastle taking a 56-53 lead heading into the break.
Yeah, this is a game that I would really enjoy taking part in. For either side, it's such a frantic pace, run and gun. Yeah, I would have thrived playing in something like this.
Would it make you come out of retirement for now?
No, it's a simple answer. That means I have to get in shape and have to run around. No,
but you play local league? No, I'm joking.
Yeah, I don't think it's quite the same.
As we see the highlights of an incredible first half of action here in Nottingham. Josh Gudemi leading the way for Nottingham with 13 points. Morikino Williams with 11 points to his name. For Team Newcastle, already 3 players in double figures for scoring. It's no guesses as to who they are. It's the big 3 of David Moyer, Themba Yabantu and Ronald Blaine. Brandon Federici has 7 points. David Moyer leading all scorers though right now with 19 on 5 for 7 shooting from downtown.
Yeah, I mean, he's just playing his game. He's just getting to his spots, hitting his shots, taking his time. He's playing at his pace, and he's not getting rushed by the Hoods defence. They really need to put the pressure on him a little bit just to make him speed up and get out of his comfort zone.
And both teams shooting around the 48% mark from downtown. Nottingham shooting 57%, Newcastle 63%, and that is just incredible numbers heading into the third period.
I don't want to take it away from Newcastle, but if you're shooting layups, it's not that incredible. But I mean, their three-point shooting is just, off the scale right now. It's pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. It's 8 for 17 from downtown, 47%.
Yeah, I mean, Hoods just need to stop all these really easy, uncontested layups. They just keep seeming to get out on the break, especially in that first quarter. And I think there was 4 or 5 possessions when the Hoods actually got back. But yeah, I mean, look, for example, Luke Mitchell's not exactly a shot blocker. He won't mind me saying that.
26 points inside for Newcastle, 20 points in transition for the visitors as we end the first half of action, as the Nottingham Hoods trail by 3 against Team Newcastle. Newcastle lead 56-53, and we'll be back in roughly 9 to 10 minutes time.
What is commitment? We have commitment is very difficult to learn. Without commitment, sport is nothing. Without commitment, sport can be just recreational tool. Like if we want to have sport as educational tool, it has to be commitment.
So Slam Jam, it's a new initiative by Basketball England, targeted at 7 to 11-year-olds. It's about getting the children to have fun, to link basketball with a fun experience so that we can get lifelong involvement in the sport. And it's really focused on engagement and a fun, positive first experience. So it's not so much about the skill development side of basketball. It's really just about giving people a positive first experience of basketball. They're having fun, they're with their friends. They can develop at their own pace in their own time. So it's really developing on coordination, core strength, as well as basketball skills. So there's not necessarily basketball specific games, but they've got basketballs thrown in there. So they're working on dribbling, shooting, passing in a less structured environment than like a training session. And it's just focused on fun and getting primary school age children engaged. When they come to the first Slam Jam session, they get a t-shirt which they can keep. Each primary school they get some Slam Jam basketballs and a little goodie bag that the children can take home. And another thing, throughout the session, if we see like someone's doing really good at a certain skill or teamwork or being just nice and friendly to other people, they can get stickers. Good practice in sportsmanship as well as being good at the skills. So I think the reason this program is different is that there's a 12-week curriculum and there's different things to work on. And obviously, as a coach, you can kind of chop and change a little bit as is appropriate for the age group that you're teaching. But it just means that everybody's getting that same fun, first positive experience. Literally, we're just trying to get them to have positive experiences with basketball so that later on they can be maybe even just a supporter of the game. Go online, get in touch with Basketball England. They can also search Slam Jam for the local centres to them that run the initiative, and they can inquire and maybe even get a coach to come in and run a 12-week session.
Semi-final by 12 points and move through to the gold medal game. They're guaranteed a medal here.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the Nottingham Wildcats Arena here in the East Midlands, where it is the Nottingham Hoods 53, Team Newcastle 56 as we enter the third quarter. John Hobbs alongside David Watson. David, we've just about caught our breath from a really exhilarating first half of play where the action was non-stop. Only one timeout was called in that entire half, and Newcastle have put 56 points on the board and Nottingham have put 53 points respectively as well. More of the same in the third quarter, perhaps, with both teams having a little bit of a break.
I expect that nothing's going to change because Newcastle are just running and gunning right now, and that's working in their favour. The game stops and getting really quick, easy scores in transition. Why change it? What Nottingham need to do, they need to attack inside out. Morikina's getting good position, but they're overlooking him, shooting some challenge shots. If they hit him down early, it'll just open everything up for their shooters. I think they also need to get out in transition a little bit more.
Both teams have no problem shooting the three ball in that half, and both teams have scored 8 3-pointers in the first half. Nottingham, though, shooting 50% to Newcastle's 47, which is actually quite an incredible statistic when you think about it, because it did seem like Newcastle were just gunning them from every angle.
Yeah, but I think they've been shooting at a bit of a higher clip as well. They've got more attempts.
Only by one. Only one more attempt.
It feels like way more attempts.
It really does. But,
I think it's because Nottingham are just having to work harder for their shots.
Absolutely, yeah.
Whereas Newcastle, like I said, there's no in-between game. It's a 3 or a layup.
And probably the most telling statistic of all, if we still continue with the field goal percentage and the field goal numbers, is Newcastle inside 2 points are shooting 13 for 16. That's 81%. Whereas Nottingham are shooting 14 for 22, which is still a good clip, 63%. But when you're shooting 81% from inside the arc, that's where the big story of the half lies.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the first 6-7 shots that Newcastle had?
Yeah.
All layups in transition. The first one was after 5 seconds.
And that's, it says quite a lot as well.
Yeah.
The starting fives for both teams have done the vast majority of the scoring in this game. But for Newcastle, it's just a case of just continue where you left off. They're playing to their strengths right now, and Nottingham, in a way, are kind of going to Newcastle's game. That will wear off as this game goes, so Nottingham really have to play to their strengths.
Yeah, again, they have to take advantage of those mismatches inside. They've got Gademi and Williams, who are really tough matchups for Newcastle right now.
So as we prepare for the third quarter of action, of course, the next time the NBL live cameras will be on your screen will be next Saturday when the Essex Rebels take on the Thames Valley Cavaliers. And a big shout out as well to our NBL live sponsors for today's game. Hopefully we'll get them on the screen in a bit, as we just see, there you go, as we see the great crowd inside the Nottingham Wildcats Arena tonight. Wilson SportServe, Dynamic Sport England, and Sure Shot, of course. Wilson, the official basketball of the NBL, and Dynamic, the official floor of the NBL. Our sponsors all season long for NBL Live basketball across the country. And amongst those future trips for NBL Live, of course, next week we're in Essex. We then move on to Cardiff, Leicester, and back here in Nottingham, where the Nottingham Hoods take on the Worthing Thunder in what should be a really interesting game, particularly as it's the last game of the season. And if things stand the way they are right now, Nottingham in third, Worthing second, that could be a potential title decider if everything goes their way.
Yeah, that's got the potential to be a really, really vital game.
As both teams come out to the floor. And Brandon Federici only shot 3 3-pointers in that first half, which is very uncharacteristic of him. But when you have David Moyes shooting 71% from downtown, it's no question as to why. As Ronald Blaine has the ball. Yabantu drives at Williams. Gale pulls up for 2 and scores.
That was a really nice first offense from Newcastle right there.
Gudemi. Here is Campbell. Jimenez looking for the screen from Williams. 4 to shoot for the Hoods. Gudemi has to put up something. There's a floater, and it's back iron. On the follow was Williams. Yabantu. Federici in the corner, and Federici rattles in a 3.
Yeah, he only needs a little bit of daylight. Now shot's going up.
2 for 4 now from downtown Brandon Federici. Campbell. Williams. Gudemi. Campbell wanted the extra pass. Gudemi went under the basket. Here is Yabantu in transition. Yabantu gets it back off Moya.
So a 3 and a layup. I think we're on pace for a similar theme in the first quarter.
Both teams more than capable of putting up 100 points at the moment at this rate, as Campbell has it.
If I correct myself, Martin Gale had a pull-up jumper, so I'll correct myself.
3 on the shot clock, so Jimenez has got to put up something. And it's a turnover for Nottingham. Good defense from Newcastle, and a shot clock violation. Here is Yabantu. Blaine. Federici to Blaine. Nice extra pass to Yabantu over Williams. Gets it to go. Another floater for Yabantu over Williams. We saw that in the second quarter.
And more points in the paint for Newcastle.
That's 30 points now in the paint for Newcastle. And another turnover, but the ball came off Yabantu last.
Yeah, that's a tough entry pass. It's a tough entry pass to catch.
As Luke Mitchell prepares to check in for the Hoods, Carl Jimenez will take a seat.
It's really good to see Luke Mitchell back in a Hoods uniform. You know, he took a little hiatus to focus on his career a little bit. Got himself sorted, now he's back.
Absolutely, and a player that you've played alongside when during your time with the Hoods. What was Luke Mitchell like as a teammate?
Oh, he was great because he passed me the ball a lot.
And that's all, really, isn't it? That's all you need.
No, really good guy. Works really hard, and just really committed to getting better. And I really like that.
Here is Campbell. Could have been, I think, offensive interference. In fact, it was. Yeah, someone smacked the backboard, and that will be a 2-pointer. So Joe Campbell's layup will count.
Yeah, a lot of imports don't really get that rule, because back in the States you can hit the backboard of glass all you want.
Here is Gale. Yabantu to Moya.
That's a tough one.
That's a tough shot.
That's
He gets
a
it
tough
to
one.
go. David Moya has been feeling it all night.
I mean, that's pretty good defense. There's nothing really you can do with a shot like that.
And a steal from Moya, the league leader in steals. And he gets it to go again. Back-to-back scores for David Moya. And Newcastle have raced out to a 69-57 lead. 7:04 remaining in the third. Timeout, Ben Stanley.
Yeah, the Hoods really need to put a stop to this little run here.
And you'd never guess that Team Nottingham, are coming into this game with 6 straight wins under their belt. Newcastle with a slight dip in form recently. You'd never guess that these two teams have such different bits of form going into this game.
Well, Newcastle at the minute are just sticking to the game plan. Get stops and get out and run. And at the moment, they're making life really difficult for the Hoods. So all their offensive sets, that they're forcing shots. The last several offensive sets that Hoods have had, turnover, they've got a bit of a pass, shot clock violation. So Newcastle are doing a fantastic job speeding them up. Hoods just need to come out with some composure and just execute.
69-57 to Team Newcastle. 7:04 remaining in the third. And Nottingham who started this year in blistering form, have their backs to the wall here on their home court. Here is Mitchell.
And here's that defense again. Newcastle have definitely done the scout report. And they know where every pick and roll's coming, they know where the ball's going, and they know where to challenge.
And Williams muscles his way in for two. And that stems the bleeding a little bit. And Ronald Blaine is holding his elbow, and he's in a lot of pain right to our left. Just by us in the commentary booth, and you can see Ronald Blaine still on the floor in a lot of pain. And play continues as Yabantu has it. And the physio's just going over, the Nottingham Hoods physio just going over to Blaine. Here is Moyer. Moyer for three. Again, David Moyer. He just can't miss right now.
But again, that's tough defense as well. He just made a better move.
26 points for David Moyer. Campbell looks to respond, short. Yabantu with the rebound. Federici. Here is Moyer again. Again, David Moyer. Inside this time.
Is that a sky hook I just saw?
A very retro sky hook, but they all count. Williams. Gademi. Gademi goes inside. Reverse layup is good.
Great take from Gademi.
Proctor on the feed from Moyer gets three. Nottingham players jumping for joy, but he misses the layup.
It was almost like he was too excited to get an open look.
Here is Mitchell. Finds Vickers in the corner. Blaine still receiving treatment. And Blaine desperate now to come back into the game. As
looks like Ellie Petcher's done a good job fixing up Blaine there.
Absolutely.
Hopefully not too good for Nottingham.
As Themba Yabantu will take a seat and Ronald Blaine rushes back onto the court. Some sterling work from the Nottingham Hoods physio there as Logan Bailey strings a three. Timeout in quick by Mark Elderkin.
Did I mention he's a Nottingham Trent scholar? We need to see more of that, I think, just confidently stepping up and just hitting those shots. Again, Newcastle at the moment are doing a really good job getting Nottingham out of their flow and out of their sets. And it's almost like panicking them into making a frantic decision.
But at the moment, it's still a 10-point game. You know, Nottingham have 64 points on the board to Newcastle 74. Still not even halfway through. I mean, it's 5-16, but not even halfway through the third, technically.
No, I mean, this is like one of those new NBA games where
Absolutely.
they finish like 130 to 120.
Yeah. And we are on course for that right now if things stay the same. Both teams really shooting the ball well, as we see Brandon Federici at the start of the third there nailing a three.
That's a really awkward shooting form as well, because all of his weight's on his right foot. He's just a little push shot. It's not a full follow through. So guys like that, they've got an absolute cannon, but it's just really unorthodox. It's hard to cover.
Absolutely. It's almost shades of, you know, we talk about NBA players. That release is almost shades of Steph Curry.
Yeah.
Such a quick release. Doesn't even get his feet off the floor. Just straight away, a quick release, snap back three.
And then that last shot by Moyer there, I mean, that's good cover. And then this one here again, little routine. It's that step through the legs and then the step back the opposite direction.
That's a beautiful angle as well that we saw that out of too, as Moyer with the
sky hook
there. We talk about the camera angles. That one a little bit.
Yeah, we missed that one a little bit, but
we'll let
it go.
Slide. But Newcastle with a 10-point lead, 5:16 remaining in this third period. For Ben Stanley, you know, what do you say to your team?
Just get some composure, execute, because at the moment they're playing a million miles an hour out of their comfort zone. Newcastle are dictating the entire game right now, and Nottingham just need to get control back. We've also got another former BBL player in the house, Mark Woodhouse. Had a stint with Plymouth Raiders.
Absolutely, yeah.
You won't recognise him because he's got hair now.
I was just about to say I didn't see him earlier.
I mean, there's not many 6'10" guys walking around, you know.
I'm not going to say what I'm just going to say next as Martin Gale hits a three. Martin Gale shooting 45% from downtown this season in his first term with Team Newcastle. Bailey misses everything, and Gale comes up with the loose ball. Gale to Proctor. Proctor goes glass and a foul.
And there's Proctor making amends for his missed layup at that earlier spell.
And Ben Proctor, really way to collect the ball in transition the way he did. It was almost behind him, but he managed to get it to go. And now Ben Proctor will go to the line for the extra foul shot. A left-handed player. Off the back iron with his foul shot. And here come the Hoods again. Nottingham trail by 15 here. Olerin goes for three, and that misses everything.
I think with the Hoods, the ball needs to be at least attempt to be thrown in one time. Just let that make that defense collapse and work.
So far, Newcastle have outscored Nottingham 21-11 in this third quarter. Here is Federici. Finds Moyer, splits the defense. Step back two, and that is off left. Here is Olerin.
And that's
2-on-1 for Olerin. And Olerin blocked by Proctor, and it will stay a Nottingham ball.
Almost seemed like Victor gathered a bit too early there.
As you see the replay of that, Ben Proctor with the big block from behind. Mitchell finds Williams at the top of the key. And here is Federici. An open David Moyer, but he misses that three. Newcastle come back up with it. Here is Federici. Federici straight away realised his mistake as his pass intended for Proctor finds the ticket sales booth.
I mean, in his defence, they were wide open.
And just a quick break in play as there is a bottle that's just been accidentally, I must add, has been thrown onto the court. I think one of the junior players for Nottingham just accidentally dropped it and it just rolled onto the court. Nottingham needing the stops they can get at the moment in this third quarter. They trail by 15.
And if you look at the foul count in this quarter as well, it's really low because, again, it's either a wide open layup or a contested three.
Yeah. Neither team have actually been in the penalties so far. And one team foul each as Vickers goes for three. And another rebound for David Moyer. Moyer open, Federici for three. And it rattled around and went out. And Williams with the rebound. 6 rebounds for Morachino Williams to go with 15 points. And Vickers was fouled. And that's on Brandon Federici. As Eddie Matthews checks back into the game for Federici, and Carl Jimenez comes back in for the Hoods. All of Newcastle's starting 5, bar Gale, in double figures for scoring. Here is Jimenez to Mitchell. 1 to shoot, and another shot clock violation as Mitchell's shot does go in off the glass, but it was too late. And that's another thing, David, that we've not really spoken about in this game enough, is Newcastle's defense has really stepped up in this third period.
They're really disrupting Nottingham's offense, making them shoot bad shots, a couple of violations there. And they're making life really difficult.
Moyer to Cork, and Cork's jumper is off.
Good box out from Mitchell.
Here is Jimenez. Finds Bailey in rhythm, and it's short. And Mitchell does a good job of stealing it off Blaine. Here is Bailey going all the way, lays it up and in.
It's a great take in transition. Such a quick and fast player.
Finds a slither of room, did Logan Bailey, and he made no mistake. Blaine, final 2 minutes of the third. Cork going inside on Williams, kicks it out to Moyer.
I think Cork, because he missed that first jumper, he needs to shoot that second one anyway.
4 on the shot clock. Blaine goes for 3 and it's off. Here is Jimenez.
A lot of standing around for Hoods here. There's not a lot of spacing either. If you look at Newcastle, they are focused on where everybody is.
And a steal there from Blaine off the pass, and Blaine driving and scoring and one. Olerin getting caught, and Ronald Blaine will go to the line. Easy score for Newcastle, and their lead goes up to 13.
I think that's one of those decisions where you either choose to foul or not foul. I think Olerin got caught in between that decision there. You've either got to wrap him up and make it not an unsportsmanlike, or just let him go.
That's a third foul on Victor Olerin as Josh Gademi goes to the line, as we see the replay of Ronald Blaine. Instantly, as soon as he got the ball, he drove his body at Victor Olerin, and Olerin committed himself, as you say, David. Didn't know whether to foul hard or just not foul, and in the end got caught in two minds, and an easy blow for the referee. One thing about Newcastle is, right now, especially in this third quarter, you can see the looks on their faces. Always smiles on their face. They're having fun while they're playing right now.
Yeah, playing at this pace is fun. I mean, it's like a scrimmage into summer. Just get stops and get out and sprint. And you're beating a team that's number 3 in the country right now.
Here is Mitchell. Open, Victor Olerin for 3, and he gets it to go. Victor Olerin, that's exactly what he needs for his confidence.
And that's what the Hoods needed too, just to find an open shooter and somebody to just knock one down.
Moyer. Blaine putting the moves on Bailey, kicks it out to Gale in the corner. Gale for 3. Final 40 seconds of this third period. Mitchell. The extra pass to Gademi for 3, and he gets it to go. Joshua Gademi from downtown.
Great ball movement, and that's exactly what Hoods need. He points on the board and stops.
And Josh Gademi now 3 for 3 from downtown as we enter the final 15 seconds of the third. Fantastic noise inside the Wildcats Arena as Matthew goes for 3 in the corner. On the follow was Cork, and he gets it to go. Final seconds of this third. Bailey's got to put up something, and his three-pointer is short. And that's the end of the third quarter. And Newcastle have it their way right now. They lead Nottingham Hoods 84-72, and the third quarter blown open by the visitors.
Yeah, just, again, Newcastle putting their foot down defensively and causing Nottingham to really be in a rush and not execute much at all. But then Nottingham hit a couple of very crucial threes in that last minute.
David Moyer leading all scorers with 28 points. Demba Yabantu with 17 to support him. Josh Gademi leading the way for the Hoods with 18 points. Morikino Williams with 15, but not a lot else happening scoring-wise. Carl Jimenez, who had 9 points in that first quarter, still hasn't scored since.
Well, again, the defence of Newcastle is just disrupting everything. They've done the scout report, they know what's going on, everybody's on the same page, and that's what that programme is. It's all about culture guys who know what day it is. And at the moment, the Hoods aren't exhibiting the fact that they are the third best team in the country, and they are really out of sorts here. They need a good 10 minutes of back-to-back stops and just getting to the foul line, just slowing the pace of this game down.
Well, we're entering the fourth quarter here in Nottingham. Another game entering, or has entered the fourth quarter, is the other game in Division 1. Right now, of course, we were talking about Oakland's getting the win against the Leicester Warriors. and Loughborough getting the win over Barking Abbey today. The Bradford Dragons currently up on the Essex Rebels 72-54, and the Essex Rebels will be on our NBL Live cameras next week as they face or host the Thames Valley Cavaliers. Of course, Thames Valley with a huge game on Sunday tomorrow afternoon against the Solent Kestrels.
I could just see Ricky Fetz now just quietly putting together a double-double. I think he's been doing that for the last, 15 years?
15 years, yeah, absolutely. I think 14 seasons, if I'm not mistaken, now with the Dragons.
And also,
someone might correct me on that.
Probably Ricky.
Probably, yeah.
But also, again, another one of the good guys of the NBL. Really competitive, but real good guy.
And the entire Bradford Dragons team, just a team that have been together for so many years. And Coach Mellor has really got a good team in the Yorkshire area as they play their games now out of Callerdale in Halifax.
What I really like about the Bradford Dragons is when Jason Swain got to play with his son Isley for a season.
Absolutely, yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah.
That was really awesome. And Jason Swain reliving a lot of those memories with me off camera when we were in Manchester for the National Cup finals. Blaine puts up a three and it rattles around and pops out. But another offensive rebound for Newcastle. Blaine was kind of off balance there. Cork fighting for it. And Cork will give his team another bite of the cherry.
I mean, they're just outworking Nottingham right now. They've had 3 attempts at offense right now.
So far, only 3 offensive or 5 offensive rebounds for Team Newcastle. Admittedly, I thought that was a little more as Eddie Matthew cuts inside for 2. Gudemi finds an open Luke Mitchell for 3, and Mitchell's 3 is long. Here is Moyer. Moyer. And Gudemi with the rebound. You could hear Mark Elderkin shouting at Moyer to attack the basket rather than take the pull-up jumper. Here is Jimenez.
On that last attempt, remind me of Brian Dukes that played for Guildford back in the day. He used to do that little shimmy of the foul line.
The most unstoppable floater in the game as Luke Mitchell is off left with his 3-point attempt. Moyer. Nice extra pass there from Blaine. I don't know how much of it he knew, but he found Jack Cork and he makes no mistake inside. Here is Gudemi. Gudemi a little bit of room off glass. Olerin was fighting for it. Gudemi gets another go, and Joshua Gudemi will go to the line for 2.
He really wants to drive the ball to the basket, but unfortunately Logan Bailey took away his driving space with a cut.
As Jack Cork will take a seat, Brandon Federici checks back in, and Joe Campbell comes in for Luke Mitchell. As Joe Campbell, another player with BBL experience. We talk about Morikino Williams, but Joe Campbell, another player with BBL experience on the floor right now, a former Sheffield Sharks guy.
Oh yeah, it was a teammates with
absolutely
one of my best friends and former roommate, Cal Jones.
Yeah. As Gudemi makes the free throws. Here is Gale, putting the moves on Bailey. Almost over-dribbled the ball there, finds Moyer. Extra pass, doesn't find Blaine. Gale gets it back. Moyer feeling it from downtown.
He seems to have cooled off a little bit now.
A block there from Gudemi on the layup attempt from Moyer. Jimenez, as Campbell couldn't quite get that ball. It came off him last. It will be a Newcastle possession. And Logan Bailey will take a seat. Andrew Vickers checks back in. Here is Blaine. Federici. A cutting David Moyer misses everything with his layup attempt. And Nottingham do have numbers here. Campbell, and the extra pass to Gademi goes out of bounds. And you feel that Joe Campbell could have just drove to the hoop with that. He had an open lane.
Yeah, but you're also in two minds again, because you know your teammates there. You know you want to pass the ball. But that's back-to-back turnovers now for the Hoods. Not even a shot attempt. They really need to tighten it up in the next 6.5.
David Moyer takes a seat. Themba Yabantu back into the game for Newcastle. Yabantu shooting 7 for 9 from downtown, has 5 assists to go with 17 points. Just a quick break in play while the moisture technician gets to work here in Nottingham.
Very nice, moisture technician, very good.
That was, I would say that that was me, but a very good friend of mine, Stan Kudzungi from the Essex Rebels, gave me that name. Of course, him and the entire Big Dog Balling crew over at Essex put on a great show as the entertainment for the National Cup Finals weekend in Manchester. Here is Matthew. Matthew with the floater, misses everything. Gale on the follow, blocked by Vickers. And Nottingham looking to chip away at this lead with 6:03 remaining. Here is Campbell. Putting the moves on Gale. Campbell on the spin, and it's off the back iron, rebounded by Blaine. That's 7 rebounds for Ronald Blaine. Stolen by Carl Jimenez. Jimenez going up and under, and Carl Jimenez will go to the line. He attacked Themba Yabantu at force.
I think Jimenez just needs to make a couple of shots just to get his rhythm back. So foul shots is a really good time just to see the ball go in the hoop.
First foul on Themba Yabantu, and Carl Jimenez, one of the very few Commonwealth Games representatives in the NBL. Of course, represented Scotland on the Gold Coast in 2018. Of course, the other player to represent their nation at the Commonwealth Games was Orlan Jackman of the Solent Kestrels. Of course, he represented England in Australia.
We won't bring up today's rugby score.
We will not, no.
Just to avoid that.
At half-time, I did read that, and I nearly broke my phone looking at the score. Anyway.
Different shaped ball, doesn't really count.
We'll leave it at that. I got France in a sweepstake for with a few friends, so hopefully I'm not too bad this year. Here is Ronald Blaine to Yabantu at the foul line, driving at Williams. An easy block there for Morikino Williams.
Again, had the open jumper at the foul line, but just because he scored on Williams earlier on, he wants to challenge him again.
Williams finds a cutting Vickers. Beautiful basketball from the Hoods. They need more of that in the final 5 minutes.
As I mentioned in the third quarter, that's what they need to do. Get the ball into the big fella and work off him.
All set for a really good finish here if Nottingham get their way. Federici, easy layup. Great feed from Gale. Jimenez almost lost the ball, but still has it. Jimenez driving past Gale. Jode Campbell doesn't get the 3, and Morikino Williams will go to the line for 2. Morikino Williams so far with 8 rebounds to go with 15 points. He's only made 1 trip to the foul line so far, and he's made good on that.
Incredible to think that we've been playing 34 minutes and the man's only shot a couple of foul shots.
Absolutely, 7 for 11 from the field, but yeah, only his 2nd trip to the foul line, and that's almost unheard of for Morikino Williams. Almost lives at the line this season.
I think that's just a testament to the scouting report again of Newcastle, who have just said that they're going to throw the ball in from here, let's double team it so we can't catch, etc.
Federici over a number of Nottingham players, gets it to go.
That's a tough finish.
That's a really tough score. Jimenez.
So Newcastle again in this matchup zone.
A three is good for Andrew Vickers. And Andrew Vickers, who's actually second in the NBL in three-point percentage, shooting 50%. Only Tom Ward of Worthing shoots a better percentage than him.
So Vickers again playing for Nottingham Trent. Must have hit 9 in a game a few months ago. And the team just kept leaving him open and he just kept punishing him.
Federici goes glass. Morocchino Williams rebounds. Gap is now 9 as well. Chance to cut it even further. But Williams' pass, or excuse me, Campbell's pass to Williams was too risky, and Newcastle come up with it.
I think again, just to swing it around, Vickers has hit a few shots, get him on the open side.
Gale steps his feet, or puts his feet over the arc and gets the 2 to go.
A very rare in-between jumper here.
Vickers to Jimenez, cross-court pass to Campbell. Campbell found some room inside, Williams puts it in and one. And Mark Elderkin calling for a timeout. And Mark Elderkin will get his timeout with 3:11 to go.
This is to put a stop to this Nottingham run at the moment. It's just going to get everybody together and just give them a little bit of rest, because this pace in the next 3 minutes, defensively for Newcastle, is going to pick up.
Absolutely. And Newcastle on point for 100 points, easily at one point, but they've slowed their offense down. They've gone cold a little bit, and Nottingham have taken full advantage of that. They were trailing by as many as 16 points, but they've narrowed the gap to 9.
Yeah, and Moyes had a quiet quarter. I mean, he was absolutely rolling for the first 3.
Hasn't scored in this quarter yet.
Yeah, so I don't think he's going to stop him from shooting, though. So he'll still get these shots up. But also, look at the foul count right now.
It's incredible, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, all one-sided. So
absolutely.
The guys in grey have a fantastic way of just evening things out.
All set for a grandstand finish if things continue the way they are.
To be fair, the referees have done a fantastic job tonight, just keeping pace with these guys.
Yeah. And
these
just letting the
sprints
game
up and
go.
down the floor. Yeah,
absolutely, just letting the game go as well.
I don't think I'd referee for all the tea in China. I would not do it.
Referees get such a bad rep from players. You hear it not just on the court, on social media as well, but it's such a tough job. They do, in my opinion, an incredible job.
Yeah.
Not just keeping up with the plays, but also making the calls on the fly. Not having the joy of having replays or going to any monitor or anything. They call it as they see it.
And I think also having to put up with me for 20 years.
And that too.
Oh, that's a horrible, horrible sentence.
Here is Moya. Gap is now 8. Yabantu. An open David Moya in the corner. That's dangerous, and that's why.
Straight out of the timeout, set please. Newcastle knew exactly where the ball would go, and you could see all the players celebrating before he even shot the ball.
Jimenez. Nottingham need an answer. 8 on the shot clock. Here is Jimenez. Inside to Williams. Williams blocked. I think that was a mixture of Gale and Blaine. Martin Gale has stayed on the floor. A really physical play there with Williams going inside. We'll see the replay of it as well. Jimenez bringing the ball to Williams inside. And Ronald Blaine with a big block, but Martin Gale got caught, you can see from behind.
Yeah, he's had Morocchino land on his right ankle there.
Yeah, and Gale has stayed on the floor. The Nottingham physio again over to just check on Gale.
That's the worst as well. When you're just coming over to help and someone just lands on your foot, it's not even your fault. It's not his fault either, it just happens, it's just part of the game, but it's just so frustrating. 2:31
remaining. And The Hoods down by 9. Mitchell misses everything. Shot clock violation. And Newcastle get the ball back, and now we enter the final, nearly the final 2 minutes of this game, and Newcastle with time on their side. Here is Blaine. Blaine finds Yabantu. And Blaine will slow it down with 9 to shoot. Blaine over Williams, partially blocked, and Nottingham come up with it. Big possession this for Nottingham. Gudemi. Mitchell. Jimenez wide three, puts it in. Big three, Carl Jimenez. Still 6 on the shot clock, but he made no mistake from NBA range.
I mean, there was no hesitation, so I've always found when you take shots like that, you don't hesitate. More likely it's going to go in.
And it's a Nottingham ball as Blaine turns it over. As Victor Ollerin checks into the game. And Josh Gudemi will take a seat. Huge possession, huge last 90 seconds for the Nottingham Hoods here.
Yeah, I mean, stranger things have happened, you know. A couple of stops, a couple of scores.
We saw it in the Women's National Cup final a couple of weeks ago when Stockport went on a 10-0 run in the final 2 minutes to force overtime. Here is Williams. Inside, gets it to go. Gap is 6.
So Nottingham really now to need this defensive pressure, need another turnover, and just get back out and make an easy shot.
Moya. Cork. Moya. Nearly went in there, but Cork battling for it, still has it. 3 on the shot clock, stolen away from Ollerin. Mitchell. Ollerin, they reset. Final 46 seconds. Inside, Jimenez. Gap is 4. Time on Newcastle's side. Blaine going inside. Blaine blocked by Williams. 8 on the shot clock. Moya.
This is a great defensive effort from the Hoods.
Cork goes for a long 2. Short. Rebounded by Jimenez. Shot clock is turned off. And a foul has been called on the floor. Time, though, really not on Nottingham's side. 14.3 seconds remaining. Morikino Williams takes a seat. Newcastle are in the penalty. So Carl Jimenez will go to the line. Carl Jimenez, an 84% foul shooter for the season. Strings the first. Mark Elderkin will definitely call a timeout on this free throw.
Again, they just need to execute. Last 14 seconds, come together, get the ball in, and just hold possession.
14.3 seconds remaining. The gap is 2. A 1-possession game. What a grandstand finish we have here at the Wildcats Arena. And the Hoods, who trailed by as many as 16, have brought it back here in this 4th quarter.
Yeah, this is going to be a really good finish. And again, it's a fans' game. You know, you're going up and down, frantic pace, back-to-back scores. It's not exactly a coach's game, because coaches like to see more stops.
Absolutely, yeah. Newcastle, though, still have the lead, and it's just just about staying patient, isn't it? And for Nottingham, get a turnover or get a foul quickly.
Yeah, I mean, I would pressure the inbounds immediately. Whoever's got the ball, try and double, get a quick turnover, but that's a very dicey play.
Both teams now coming onto the floor.
And if you are going to foul right now, it's going to be very important that you don't get called for unsportsmanlike.
Big play here for Newcastle. Moyer with it. Looking for Blaine, finds him. And the foul there from Vickers. However, that's a first team foul for Nottingham.
Yeah, foul count very much on Newcastle's side right now. In this term, in this stand of things.
Of course, Newcastle in the penalty, first team foul, so there'll be a lot of stops here. And there's another foul, this time Vickers, in fact, the same one, Vickers on Blaine. And only 3 seconds has been shaved off the game clock. Shot clock has been turned off. And there is a third foul, I think, on Vickers again. And that's 3 fouls on Vickers, and a 9/10 of a second has been shaved off the shot clock, the game clock, excuse me, and Federici has been fouled this time. And that's on Gudemi. So the next foul will be Nottingham in the penalty. Gudemi with his second foul, so Brandon Federici will go to the line for 2. And that's around 4 seconds, or about just under 5 seconds, has been knocked off the shot clock, or the game clock, excuse me.
Yeah, and it's one of those things, isn't it, with the foul count, but you've got one of the best foul shooters on the floor now.
And Federici...
I was hoping I was going to tempt fate, but unfortunately not.
Federici around an 82% foul shooter this season. Misses one of them, so a 3-pointer will do for Nottingham. Final seconds. Jimenez puts up a wild 3. It's no good, and that will do it. Carl Jimenez's 3 way off, and Newcastle hang on to end Nottingham's 6-game winning streak. They defeat the Nottingham Hoods 98-95 as Josh Gudemi going over to console Carl Jimenez. What a game of basketball we have seen, and it looks like both teams are on course, both teams for 100 points. It got a little slower, a little more defensive orientated in the fourth period, but Newcastle come away with a big win.
Yeah, again, testament to Newcastle. Scan report down to a T. Everybody bought in and executed. Nottingham, frantic pace really bothered them early on.
David Moyer with 31 points, 7 for 11 from downtown for David Moyer.
He's not bad, that lad. Can really put the ball in the basket, can't he?
And Themba Yabantu shooting 7 for 10 from the field for 17 points, 5 assists, and a steal to his name for the Hoods. Morikino Williams with 22 points, 8 rebounds. Josh Gudemi with 20 points, 6 rebounds. Not enough, though, for the Hoods as they slip to their 4th loss of the season.
Yeah, the Hoods were definitely disappointed with this. Very winnable game, but again, they had spells where they just couldn't put the ball in a basket or even find a decent shot. So I think going into next week's practices, they're really going to have to focus on that.
Absolutely, and a tough run as well for the Hoods coming up. You know, next home game against Solent, that'll be a huge game for them. As you know, the race now to the playoffs is really heating up, and this is a big win for Newcastle. They had games in hand over the teams above them in 7th place. This is a big win as they aim for a top 4 spot.
Yeah, and again, Newcastle are really pushing those teams, and nothing is out of their reach at the moment. I mean, like I said, they made a final, and they are performing really well as a unit. And at this point of the year, that's exactly what you want. You want everybody to be on the same page, executing, and just playing for a win, not just for themselves.
So that brings a close to our NBL Live offering from Nottingham here tonight as Team Newcastle University hang on to beat the Nottingham Hoods 98-95. My thanks to David Watts. I'm John Hobbs. Have a great evening, everybody.